December 27th, 1917. The Pocahontas arrived in Brest, France, to a celebratory welcome. Unknown to the Old 15th, the decision had already been made to use them only for combat service support. They were not to see battle. Desperate for soldiers to fight, the French pushed hard for the newly arrived 15th to join them on the battlefield. They were eventually successful. The Old 15th would fight under the French banner and be renamed the 369th Infantry Regiment. The Americans were once again outfitted as soldiers should be, then paired up with a French counterpart. They would now all fight together.
Brest Harbour. Located in French Brittany, Brest was a military harbour, able to accommodate heavy tonnage. It became the main entry point for US troops to France in November 1917. Between 1917 and 1919, around 30 camps were established in town, allowing the transit of more than 800,000 men, greater than the current population of Washington, D.C. We can see in the picture American troops marching in the city. Railways. Railways were the best way to rapidly transport thousands of men, animals and material. It was used as early as 1914 to bring men to the front and to concentrate forces at borders. Railway stations and marshalling stations quickly became essential logistic nodes for troops, but were also vital for the transportation of casualties, prisoners and supplies. German troops set up new military railway stations a few miles from the front in the areas they had occupied. The image shows Russian troops being transported to Thessaloniki, Macedonian front. Food on the front. The logistics required to bring food to the front were impressive. For example, the British sent over 67 million pounds of meat to the Western Front on a monthly basis. They alternated between fresh, frozen and tinned food, but they also established mobile units to prepare and bring hot food as close as possible to the front line. The image shows French soldiers loading loaves of bread prepared in Saint-Cyr, near Paris, onto a train heading to the front. Old 15th and the 369th. The 15th New York National Guard Regiment was formed in 1916, made up exclusively of non-white soldiers, mostly African Americans but also Cubans and Puerto Ricans, and led mainly by white commissioned officers, but also a few African American commissioned officers. Upon its arrival in Europe, it was renamed the 369th Infantry Regiment. Initially assigned to the US Army's Service of Supply, it was rapidly integrated into the French Army as a fighting unit. They kept their American uniform, but were equipped with French helmets and guns. They traded their helmets for US-issued ones later in the conflict. They shared their culture with the French and introduced them to jazz, but also to new sports such as baseball and basketball. Adrian helmet. In the early days of the Great War, 77% of all wounds were in the head, and 80% of those were fatal. By 1915, French soldiers were issued steel helmets to replace their ineffective cloth caps. The helmet was named after the engineer who designed it, Adrian.
Deb. Deb. Na dog tixi bluff. Read me to pato. Deb. The rock trixie to pato.
English spoken here badge. English-speaking French soldiers often wore this badge to show they could facilitate communication between French speakers and the Old 15th.
Lo hai colto palo. Trappasò. Lo hai colto palo.
Lebel rifle. The standard French rifle. This bolt-action 8mm rifle could hold up to 10 cartridges with an effective range of 250 meters. With a bayonet and spare ammunition, the Lebel rifle weighed nearly 11 pounds.
Colto palo. Bravo. Colto palo. Trapasso.
Hi. Freddy?
Huh? You know Freddy?
Yeah.
For James and Freddie, the long-awaited reunion was a powerful reminder that neither time nor distance can erode the extraordinary bond of brotherhood. The general mood among the 369th Infantry was one of camaraderie and shared purpose. Anna, joining them for a last meal before heading back to Vimy, was finding it particularly hard to say goodbye to Freddie.
Enlève la vie, on recule. Allez, continue. Push.
But their renewed optimism was soon dashed. By nightfall, everyone in the 369th would be reminded of the perils this war had in store for them.